Good morning, friend. Today I am going to discuss about the microservice using Spring Cloud Eureka. So, first question is, what is Eureka? Eureka is provided by the Netflix and Spring Boot integration with the Eureka. It will make that microservice communication very easy. Now let me discuss about the reason behind using Eureka. Okay. So what's the problem for the communication? Suppose nowadays we have multiple service. API has been exposed. So REST service 1, REST service 2, REST service 3. So each one we can consider as a microservice. Okay. And you have a REST client. And you need to communicate with different REST service 1, REST service 2 and 3. And if all are in the same machine, then it is localhost and their port number is different. Okay, suppose here is hundreds of microservice and it is in different machine, and it is very difficult to remember, right? All that server name, all that port number. Okay, so this is a tightly coupled. So here the problem arises. So instead of REST client remember everything and need to change that property, it's a very difficult task. Okay, now what is Eureka? It's the simple word. Eureka is the service registry which is provided by the third party library. Okay, so we need to use the container and all the microservice need to registered here. Okay, let me see the way of solution. Okay, so instead of remembering all of the URL, registered microservice with Eureka server. So here we have the three service, microservice 1, 2, 3, that is product service, order service, payment service. We need to register all of them with that container. So we have to create one application, which application will registered all. Okay, so that we this service, we remember that this is the product service, is the order service instead of localhost and the port number. Okay, so we need to develop customized Eureka server first, which will register this service. And then the REST client we can consider is as a shopping site like Amazon and Flipkart, which is the UI to the user. But in the back end we have the product service, order service, payment service, all that microservice is going to invoke here. Now this is that URL we are finally getting, that instead of localhost like HTTP product service slash products order service. So this is the very easy to remember. Now first we need to create application which will be acting as Eureka server. So for the Spring applications I have created say Spring Eureka server support, Spring Web and Spring Boot Dev Tool. So every time code change it will automatically deployed code, and it's a no business logic, it's a just expose as a server. So I have to write enable Eureka server, and here in the dependency we have to write, since it's a server, Spring Cloud Starter Netflix Eureka server. Okay, and in the property I have to mention that port number 8761, and since it's a server, so I have to make everything is a false, registered with Eureka fetch registry, it's a false, and application name Amazon server Rabi. And in the console you can see that port number 8761 and default port of the Eureka is 8761, and threshold right now is the 1. It will automatically increased later when we have more application, and at this moment there is no application has been registered yet. This is the just server application is getting up. Okay, now we have to create microservice. So say I have create microservice payment service Rabi and registered with the Eureka, that is Amazon server Rabi, which I have already created. Now this is the payment service Rabi. here it's not a Eureka server, it's a Eureka discovery client, and it's a dev tool and spring web I have added. And this is a REST API. I am simple REST API. I am going to expose it here. It's a just payment uh, provider. And here I just in the get mapping, simple, if we just give the price, it will expose as the price. And say just port number I have mentioned, server.port, and payment provider, pay now, and the price, according to the price it will give it. And so it's a direct hit. Okay. And I also mention in the properties that service URL, that is localhost 8761, that's the Eureka server, that is Amazon server Rabi. So this payment service Rabi will be registered with the Amazon server. And other thing what I have skipped it, so this is 8761, this is localhost 8761, it's a Eureka dashboard. Okay, so Eureka server is providing, so here we can monitor it. Now here we have, earlier we see that no instance available. Now after make that payment service up, and we have already registered with localhost 8761, now you will see that in the console registered instant payment service Rabi has been included here. And if we see the dashboard, that has been included, so registered in the Eureka server. That's the first thing. Now the second thing is that we need to communicate with that microservice with another microservice, say Amazon shopping or Flipkart shopping. We need to integrate. So A is the client, is the Amazon shopping Rabi, and B is the another microservice, that is payment service Rabi, which I have already created. Now this one I am going to create now. So A will communicate with the B through Eureka server. In Eureka server we have already registered payment service Rabi. Okay, so to create the application A, that is Amazon shopping Rabi, we have to include Eureka discovery client, spring web, and dev tools. And here we are getting data in the millisecond. And since in the starter applications in the Java we have mentioned that in the @bin @load balancer, so multiple thread can access it. And here we have mentioned enable Eureka client, and this is the main. And here REST template we have exposed as a bin, because multiple thread is going to invoke. It's not, we can do the same thing here also, but to get that load balancing and the multiple thread access, so we are exposing as a bin. Now here we see in the shopping controller, in the get mapping, we see that when you are invoking that REST web service, that is payment web service, which I have already created, the URL. So this URL is not localhost, it is already registered in the Eureka server. So here we, instead of that which has already been registered, we are using that one. So this way we can use that. And also this client also in registered with the Eureka server. Okay, and this application name is Amazon shopping Rabi. So here you see that more you application you are adding, and if you are include this in application with that Eureka server, so it will be added automatically in the Eureka server. Now see here that there is no business logic. Business logic is from the payment service. Okay, and for the direct hit we see that 888 for the payment service, and it's a direct hit. We have to give that localhost 888 payment service provider, pay now 456. And here what we have given, we don't give that big URL, we just give that simple. We have that it's a kind of UI to client, and we give Amazon payment and the price and the through Eureka. So this is 999 through Eureka. We are hitting that service. So we have created now this REST client, and to interact with this microservice, first we have registered this microservice with the Eureka server as a products payments service, and the payment service which has been registered we have invoked here. It's indirectly that will invoke that microservice 3. So this way we can easily communicate with the microservice. So these three are the microservice. This is also microservice. There is no business logic here. This is just a UI. So for example, Amazon and Flipkart UI, and this is the web service has been exposed, and using Eureka server we can communicate because it has already been registered. So this way we can simply communicate with Eureka server. So microservice, it's a very small app way, and it's a very simple way we can communicate. Thank you very much.